Okay, now the gut, as a topic. When I think of the word gut, I divide it into three categories. Stomach, small intestine, colon. We're going to talk about each of them. The stomach is designed to protect you by destroying microorganisms that you put in your mouth. The stomach it's acidic enough that it will kill most things that are alive, like virus, fungus, yeast, bacteria. They go in the stomach, they're destroyed. The stomach also helps start to mix up food. It's not a big bag that you throw stuff in it, hydrochloric acid dissolved. The stomach is divided into three parts, upper, middle, and lower. And the upper kills the stuff, the middle starts to activate it, and the lower part progresses it even further, it breaks it down. It helps activate the enzymes that were in the food if you ate food that was ripe and in season. If the food's not ripe and in season, then the stomach has a problem. I'm going to talk about two of the main problems in the stomach. Number one, dealing with unhealthy foods like raw, like not ripe foods. That's number one. If you don't have enough enzymes in the food, then your body has to kick in to overdrive, and the chief cells in the stomach go to work to make the stomach more acid. Where do they get the building material for the acid? They take it out of the blood. That's why it's expensive, but they make it. Number two, the next problem with the stomach is food volume. By design, the stomach is about the size of your fist. If you drink a big glass of water and then you eat, you have definitely overloaded the stomach capacity from a standpoint of volume. When you get too much volume in the stomach, whatever it is, good or bad, the stomach goes to work to make more hydrochloric acid, which is expensive. So if you want to be really nice to your gut, to the stomach, eat ripe, raw, fresh foods seasonally, and eat small quantities of meat. You can eat all kinds of meat, but think of a small quantity. Think of it something like this is bigger than a deck of cards, but think of a deck of cards. That's about all the meat you should ever eat. So if we took this whole group to Texas Roadhouse, we could order 2 steaks and divide it up. We'd probably have plenty instead of one huge one. Now, number 2, small intestine. The small intestine is where the action really happens. The small intestine is about 18 to 20 feet long, give or take. It's small in diameter. There's a lot of action going on there. And it has millions of, they call it villi. They're like fingers that protrude, they go all the way around, all the way through. And that's to give more surface area so they can do more things. Digest the food better. In the small intestine, we have flora. Flora is what's called symbiotic. That's a fancy word for it. It works together with your body. The flora is alive, they're alive, living, functioning, moving organisms. For your mind, think of Pac-Man, you know, they go around eating that thing. they kind of like that. They help break things down. You have good flora and bad flora. Where do you draw the line? The line is not hardcore, but it's generally toxic flora, bad flora, secrete acid waste. Friendly flora secrete alkaline waste. The small intestine is designed to be mostly alkaline. It becomes more alkaline as it goes. If you take a digestive enzyme to help the stomach, it also helps further on through into the small intestine because the enzymes become more valuable in the small intestine. If you have a lot of bad bacteria in the small intestine because you've had antibiotics of any kind, anytime, I recommend you go through a few doses of the Flora Plus. Now this is a Flora Plus is what's called a probiotic. Now, probiotic is a very commonly marketed product nowadays. A lot of people buy, they go to the store and buy probiotic. Most of them get utilized in the stomach as food. They don't make it to the small intestine. That's where they need to make it. The Flora Plus has been tested and proven to be activated once it gets into the small intestine. And it helps you recreate a favorable population of friendly flora. The best way to use it is to do a lot for a few days. I recommend usually about 4 to 6, twice a day for 3 or 4 days, then stop. Wait 4 days, do it again. That's kind of a general rule. You go up and down, and that sends in a whole lot of flora, friendly bacteria, and they set up camp. They overpower the acid-producing bacteria. Now, what effect does that have in your body? It has a couple of major effects. I think I might be short of these, so just take one per family. If you have that before, this is just, I want you to read this article at home, but I want to tell you what it's about so you get the concept. When you have friendly flora in the gut that dominates, it has a major positive effect on your brain. If you have a craving for bad food, if you like, you can blame it on the villains, the unfriendly flora in your gut. Deborah, you can make a couple more copies of it when it comes in.
So the digestive, if I understand right, then does that help you have abdominal if you take that?
Okay, that's not the design of the digestion, but will aid in bowel movement. Probably because you will digest your food better. You'll get more value out of your food. It's not a laxative.
Which one of your?
None of these are laxatives.
It's the 4 plus.
So the digestion for the stomach, the Flora Plus for the small intestine. Now we're going to the large intestine. The large intestine starts here by the appendix, goes up and around by the liver, across into over here and back and down. It's about 18 inches long. One of the main purposes is to absorb nutrition molecules that are attached to water. It goes back into the body. And as we talked about before with the colon, with the coffee enema, if whatever you have eaten is bad, it goes to the liver, and the liver filters out the toxins and binds them up so that they can be attached to bile, which is then secreted when you eat fat. If you don't eat fat, you're more likely to have a gallbladder problem.
Bacon, just remember bacon.
That's right.
Bacon, butter, all of the natural oils. Try to avoid any type of oil that has been hydrogenated, because when they hydrogenate it, it totally changes it. It has a indefinite shelf life, which means it can't hardly be digested. So in the small intestine and the large intestine, you get a reabsorption of water with minerals. Now, did everyone get a copy? I'm going to pass out another handout for you. If you have any weakness in any cells, the stem, the magnet stem helps to nurture them. And will cause your body to build new cells to help your body rebuild. Now, yeah, you have I passed that out to you. You all have one of those pictures of the spine.
I have a question on that, before you move on.
Okay.
So we all kind of have candida in our body, which is a bacteria. And then if it really gets out of hand, it can turn into like eczema, yeast, and all sorts of things. So does the flora help combat that, or more of a digestive enzyme help combat some of that, or am I way off?
No, I think you're right on. Both the flora, the digestive aid, the Opti all help with a candida imbalance. Keep in mind though, candida only is present if you eat excess sugar. That's what candida eats. If you want to attract mice and rats and bugs and stuff, you throw some garbage out, they'll come. If you want to attract candida, you put a lot of sugars in your body. Remember, sugars is a fuel that lasts short term. I'll make a comment about that and backtrack a teeny bit. If we talk about the causes of fatigue, we didn't cover that, did we? The causes. Lack of sleep is one. Lack of sleep is one of the major causes of chronic fatigue. We talked about the blood pressure dropping. That's a sign that you have chronic fatigue. Even if you don't feel like you're fatigued, even if you don't feel like you're tired, the blood pressure goes down, you have it. If we ask the question why, number one is not enough fat in the diet. And fat's been given a bad rap. And I'm here to take away the bad rap, because I don't believe that. Here's why. If you think of carbohydrate, and we'll go camping, we're going to build a fire. If we put some propane out, we get a big fire quick. It doesn't last. You know, we used to do that with hairspray. Take a match and
That's how you kill spiders.
That's how you,
Yeah, that's right.
Is that how you kill spiders?
Just watch out for any, wallpaper.
that's carbohydrate, that's fast, burns fast. Protein burns like kindling, like wood, like finely chopped wood. It takes a little harder to get it going, it burns a little longer, it leaves a few coals. Protein. If you run a diet where you don't eat, you don't put a carbohydrate in, you know, some kind of freaky diet with no sugar, which is almost impossible. But that's what happens then is your body will break down muscle to burn for fuel. That's the kindling. So we're gonna break the house down, take the tuberfluous out to keep us warm. Okay? Fat is like coal. Fat, it's hard to get burning. Once you get it going, it lasts a lot longer. And if you think of volume, you take 1 cubic centimeter of fat as 9 units of power. Protein has 5, sugar has 4. So if we want to have more energy, the same volume creates more than twice as much energy and lasts longer. And that's one of the main causes, in my opinion, of chronic fatigue, is not enough fat. Now, I market my breakfast concept. Now, I don't market the food, I market the concept. The concept is you take grains from a lot of sources. Some of you have seen this. If you haven't, you can take one of those. There's a little bit of fat in all grains. If you use the concept that I'm teaching, add more fat. Add butter, coconut oil, olive oil. You can add nut butters. Peanut butter is the worst. Add other butters if you like nut butters. But add fat. If you do that, you can have a very small breakfast, very quickly, very easy. That's a concept we'll talk about in one of the other classes, but I want to mention it today. So, causes of fatigue. Number 1, not enough fat. Number 2, not enough sleep or rest. Number 3, head forward posture. That's a very common problem. It has more negative effects than you can believe. For every inch the head goes forward, whether you're sitting or standing, it has the effect of an additional 10 pounds. So a 10-pound head will weigh 40 pounds in effect on your body. So you try carrying 40-pound weight around all day and see how tired you get carrying it around. And that same thing happens if your head's forward. That's where you need to focus, and get in the head balance. And that's one of the big advantages of the T-zone. When you stand on the T-zone, the body will naturally go back to balance the best it can at that particular time. Do any of you have any questions?
One more, sorry.
No, that's good.
Okay, so I understand the digestive enzymes helps the digestive system, and then the 4 plus is like the probiotic, which helps boost up and strengthen your good bacteria. But I missed the part on the Opti GI and what part that plays.
Thank you. The Opti GI is primarily specific nutrients to aid the redevelopment of healthy tissue in the colon. It's like in my garden, I have tomatoes. I put tomato food on the tomatoes. Not the strawberries, tomato food doesn't help the strawberries. Tomato food helps the tomatoes. It's a different combination of nitrogen, phosphate, etc. The same is true with the gut. Opti GI is one of the best things that I've ever seen used to help the whole gut. Stomach, small, large intestine. People with major degenerative changes and when they got benefit from this. I recommend long-term use of this to help you fix fissures and polyps and diverticuli. And it's not intended to treat them, okay, so don't get that confused. It's intended to help your body make that tissue better. It takes different material to make a fingernail, or an ear, or a bone than it does the tissue in the gut. Which brings us to the last subject on stem cell. I passed the stem cell sheet around for you, right? Did I pass this one around? Okay, I'm gonna pass this one too. So, a very brief discussion about stem cells. Where are they made? In the bone. When are they made? All the time. When are they made mostly? True. Not probably. Definitely. If you're not using the bones and the bones become weak, you become osteoporotic. By the way, the two major causes of weak bones is number one, disuse. You sit around, the bones don't need to be tough. You get active, the bones adapt, they become more strong. Again, that's a real value of the T-zone. When you stand in the T-zone, you get that up and down motion. You create bone demand, and if you have proper nutrients, you build better bones. If you have better bones, you make more stem cells. So this company came out with what they call magnet stem. This is not stem cell. It's nutrition for the bones to help the bones be better. And when they're better, they can make more stem cells. Now,
What's that called?
magnet stem. Now, if you have a problem with your shoulder, your knee, your hip, your kidney, your lung, it doesn't matter. Stem cells become whatever they're needed to become. Stem cells are most prevalent in infants. Why? Because they're making all the stuff, all the body parts. They have stem cells and they make all the body parts. Commercially, you can buy stem cells. You can have them injected in you. I've been to marketing meetings where they marketed stem cells, and they wanted people to sign up to get injection in the shoulder or the hip or the knee for about $5,000 per. If it doesn't work, they'll do it again. They'll send a nurse to your home. You can get it done. Insurance won't pay for it because it's not that accepted. So, when I think of stem cell, I think about a young man or young woman who's filling out their mission papers, and they turn it in. They say, there's a song. It's called the stem cell song. I'll go where you want me to go. I'll do what you want me to do. I'll be where you want me to be. That's a stem cell. and they become guards to your body. So if this discussion is about the immune system, that's where the immune system gets all of its cells. The stem cells become lymphocytes, and then they specialize. When they specialize, they do more specialized things. When I talk about that in the other class, I refer to them as, like, in principle, like the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Coast Guard, the State Patrol. They all have different jobs. They all do different things, but they have one thing in common. The thing they have in common is to protect the body, to fight the body. Now, as a note for you who've been worrying about COVID, and we're not going to talk about it, but I'm going to mention a couple things. If you've had the jab, you've had permanently affected the T cells, the memory T cells. They've been weakened. They will never be the same. And if you have a booster, you make them even more weak. So if you have had that, my recommendation is you get really focused on building stem cells and providing adequate nourishment for the whole body, and become more rested. You know, the whole big picture about alternative healthcare. Do as many things as you can. If you've had the jab, if you haven't had it, do it. Now, they've proven that people who get natural immunity have more value than people who get the jab. So, I'm one of them. I've been exposed to the people with COVID. Doesn't matter to me. COVID is just another virus. My body handles that virus, and handles all of the adaptations, the second and third and fourth generations, and we'll have the fifth and the sixth and the seventh. They're all different depending on the environment they're in. The environment they're in affects their quantity and quality, their strength. So they're different in California than they are in Alaska. They're different in China than they are in Japan. They all adapt to their own environment, just like you and I do. So for your body, your microbiome, that's the inside of you, for the inside of you to be most healthy, you have your own little continent, your own little sphere of what you need to guard, to protect, to keep clean, to nurture, to rest, to rebuild, to take care of yourself, to prevent whatever happens. And I honestly believe that what's coming down the road in the future is probably a lot worse than we have today. So right now, today, we have people that are doing more bad things and are becoming weaker, more weak. Not enough water, not enough sleep. They worry about stuff they don't need to worry about. And I find more Raglan's test failures because they're going down. At the same time, the microorganisms are getting stronger. They're adapting. They're becoming smarter. They're becoming tougher. And when you kill them with any kind of spray or a mist like that, do at the grocery store. You go to the grocery store and you wash your hands. You're destroying you're destroying the acidity of your skin. You're destroying the friendly flora that's on your body, and you're killing good stuff. And if you read the bottles, that says that we kill 99.9% of the organisms. The truth is, when God made the earth, He didn't fill it with crap. He filled it with friends. All the microorganisms, virus, fungus, yeast, bacteria, they're the earth maids. They clean up. They clean the sidewalk, they clean the road, they clean the trees, they clean the flowers, they clean our bodies. The friendly flora I mentioned to you, they're symbiotic. They help take care of your gut, and what's inside of you helps influence what you eat. That's what that article is about. If people have told me here in class, when they take the Flora Plus, my craving for bad food goes down. And you want to eat better food. Why? Because you're feeding these in your gut. They live in there. It's like the monk in the zoo saying, I want a banana. So the zookeeper goes and gets a banana. They tell the brain what to eat, and you go eat it. That's why it's called the gut-brain connection. Now, one more step along that same line. If you have anxiety, depression, dementia, Alzheimer's, those types of problems, the gut is critical. And the further down the road you are with those kind of problems, and it starts with simple things like, I put on the sheet, like brain fog, like tiredness. That's a gut problem. So today we talked about the gut. I hope to give you some ideas that will help you help yourself to keep a healthier gut. Any final questions or comments? Gavin, come on.
I'm good.
Oh, you're good. By the way, you look great.
I'll give you a little commercial
Me?
backing on the stem.
Oh, okay,
I've been on it for, I think I'm on my 4th bottle,
okay.
and it's been life-changing. I have more stamina, I can move easier. I used to hurt mowing my lawn. I'm like, it's all of a sudden I'm like, gosh, I don't hurt doing that. So
Thank
it's
you.
good, yeah.
Which one's that?
Magnesium.
Stem.
Why would that be?
Well, very simple. Magnesium helps nurture the bones to make more healthy stem cells. What did they become? Muscle, kidney, lymph. They become wherever they needed. Wherever they needed. So and the truth is, most of us at this age have multiple weak spots. So when I hear people talk about what effect it has on them, they're all different. Does anybody else have any favorable things they want to say about that?
I eat less. I'm not as hungry. I'm more energy.
Okay, so that's huge. So eating less, more energy. Our gut has got to be more healthy. Our brain is more healthy.
Hope so.
Which one's that?
Magnesium.
Same.
Oh, you're all still talking about the same.
But and
Magnesium.
I also take the 4 plus. So.
Same thing.
Would a person our age want to take 2 a day, more, less, one morning, one night?
The recommendation generally is take one in the morning and one at night.
That's what
I find I take mine both at night. That helps me the best.
Oh,
I
Because
take
I
mine in
tried
the
morning and night, and I started feeling not as well, so I just went back to 2 at night.
And that's fine. That's very good. I happen to like them. They've helped me in a number of ways. Probably the most it's helped me. I have more energy. I also sleep deeper.
Yeah.
I have less pain, like a lot less. So I cheat. I take one in the morning, 2 at night. And they take a BFF with it because I know if I take a BFF at the same time, I'm going to get better blood flow.
Do you take that every day, a BFF every day?
I do.
In the morning?
Because you said it's only with what's under your tongue, right?
The BFF is when we do the nitric oxide test.
Oh, that's right.
If you're low on nitric oxide, you would benefit. I know you benefit from the BFF. Why do I take it? I'm probably I'm not for insurance policies. To me, it's insurance. It's inexpensive. Same. I take all this stuff.
So I only take like 1 or 2 a week, but
There's
And
not
it
a right.
helps you
There's
that
not a right
much.
or wrong.
Do you take the BFS in the morning because they, like,
Whenever.
you wouldn't take them in the night? I mean, do they wake, like they stimulant, I guess, for sleep?
They're not stimulant. Some people, I'll tell you, I'm confessing here. If I get up in the night to pee, 1 or 2 o'clock, I take a stem cell, I take a magnet stem and a BFF and go back to bed. Cause I know during the night my body's healing better than any other time. I use the T-zone just before I went to bed and resting. I take them for extra nutrition. And like you said, you spend less, you could spend more money on supplements if you buy less food.
That's right.
To me, it's food. I mean, it's all food. Thank you for your comments. We're right on time.